sister, Lioness Crowned, your revolutionary, unapologetically Black host right here at flynubianqueen.com, the network for melanated people like you. Also, come in, hit the like button, make sure you hit that notification bell. We have many things to discuss. We have many concerns. We got a few questions. We got some policies that need to be challenged and definitely interrogated, shifted, and changed. We have so much damn work to do. And we are in like the first 30 minutes of the new 45th presidential administration of the United States, the concept of what we know as the United States of America, as Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. would say, of America. All right, so this is where we are. Come on in. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit that notification bell. You already know this is a B1 space. We're not going to tolerate any foolishness today, and we're damn sure not going to tolerate a new administration that seeks to practice even more bigger and egregious forms of benign neglect onto our people. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. We're not doing it at all. We are not impressed. We are not inspired. We are not going to be rocked back to sleep. Somebody say something. Let me know if you hear me. All right, we have a special guest. I was like, okay, let me get some divine feminine energy up in this space so we can kind of help to contextualize what had happened and how we got to this space where we are right now. Now, actually, I think it was 2 weeks to the day. 2 weeks to the day, there was a siege on the United States Capitol by white supremacist domestic terrorists, right? Now we have we have new President Joe Crime Bill Biden, right? President Joe Crime Bill Biden, aka Lucifer, as I would say. I would say, it was out with 45, the Antichrist, out with the Antichrist, now in with Lucifer, right? Because people were going back and forth, losing friendships, losing marriages, losing relationships, losing all types of contact with friends and family over this argument over the lesser of two evils. So somebody make it make sense to me. You let me know, right, how it makes sense in any universe at all, right? Or even this time space that we're in right now together, right? How does it make sense for goddesses and gods of the universe, right, of the earth? How does it make sense for gods and goddesses to choose the, play the game of choosing the lesser of two evils? Somebody please tell me something. Tell me something. So I was like, you know what? Let me just call out. Let me just seek some type of moral support as we go through these next 4 years and beyond, right? With the work of Black liberation, right? And knowing what that's like. This is my comrade who's about to come in. She's about to bless the space real quick. But I needed that moral support for somebody who knows what it means to be boots on the ground, to organize, do outreach with our people, and to be consistently, unapologetically B1 and doing the work. And I need the moral support in this moment from this particular sister, because she also knows what it means, like when we're out doing this work, being met with resistance for folks who, are more so impressed by symbolism, right? Political symbolism, theatrics, melanated people in places of high positions who actually do nothing to really directly for or benefit our people, right? So we have a hell of a task ahead of us, hence the title of this broadcast, right? Inauguration 2021. Don't get rocked back to sleep. So without further ado, I'm gonna need y'all to hit the like button, notification bell, all that good stuff. Make sure you text the word Queens to 31996. Before the sister comes in, I do want to make a couple announcements. We will be having the WOW conference, right? WOWW, right here in Fly Nubian Queen. We will be doing this next weekend. All right. And so this is a women's conference. We're going to get more information on that. The womenofwealthweekend.com is the website, womenofwealthweekend.com. Now, without further ado, let me just go ahead and bring my sister in. Sis, Iman, welcome into the Lioness Den. Turn on your camera.
All right.
Let the folks see you.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling? Welcome to the New World Order. Welcome to the 46th administration, right, of the United States of America.
Yep.
You look really underwhelmed in this moment. Can you just tell me what your experience is right now?
I am extremely, extremely underwhelmed. I was like, oh, inauguration day. Same old, same old, same old. It seems like it's I was just like, I'm not excited. I made a joke to someone earlier. I said, hey, why aren't you like wearing your red, white, and blue right now, pledging allegiance to the flag and like ushering in your new president? And it was like, ha ha ha, because we know who James Joe Biden is. We know, like you said, Joe Crime Bill Biden. We know who he is. We know who Kamala is. We know the infrastructure of America. We know what this is. We all know that this is all just, as you stated, the symbolism of it. Having like keep on announcing, oh, the first Black vice president, and she's a woman, and she's Southeast Asian, and she's this and she's that. And it's like, but who is she really? You know what I'm saying? Who is Joe Biden really? Who have they always been? Who has America always been? They go through the whole historical context of America, talking about, oh, this great nation, this great nation, this. They never talk about, oh, how the land was stolen, how they raped and pillaged the lands of the natives and things like that, how they stole the land, how they stole us and brought us over here, stole our labor and desecrated our culture and things of that sort to build up what America is today, to be this great nation. So it's all just BS, and it's tomfoolery, and it's propaganda, and it's at its highest form with all of this. Oh, America's democracy was really what was the word that they used? But they just really said that like it was jeopardized in the last 2 months, and I was just like, what democracy are they referring to? And in the last 2 months, I don't know what country, where have I been living then?
Sis, thank you for that commentary. Folks are coming into the Lioness Den. They are resonating with what you're saying. We want to shout out our supporters. We want to shout out Zabaware, bigcartel.com. Thank you so much for your generous contribution to Fly Nubian Queen and for investing in Black news media. You said B1 Reparations, B1 Anthology. And then we also have Twinborn. Thank you so much also for your generous contribution to Fly Nubian Queen. You said, I was waiting for you to come on and your commentary, I could not stomach watching it on regular lane media. Well, I couldn't stomach watching it either. And if you don't believe me, I can show you better than I can tell you. You can go over to my Instagram. You can check my last post, and you can go over to our sister, Iman Artist, Instagram, and check her post as well. So everyone who's tuned in right now, I want you to make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the notification bell. Be sure to subscribe to flynubianqueen.com on Facebook, Instagram. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're on Instagram too. Flynubianqueen.com on Facebook, iTunes, and YouTube. And be sure to text the word Queens to 31996. That's Queens to 31996 to get notifications when we do go live and when other contributors on our network go live as well. And we want to remind you to check us out, check the Queens out. We're going to be doing the damn thing next week at the WOW conference, the WOW conference, the Women of Wealth Weekend. So visit womenofwealthweekend.com. That's womenofwealthweekend.com. It's going to take place Saturday, January 30th and Sunday, January 31st, 2021. 10 a.m. Eastern time to 3 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be putting in that work. Yes, you will be hearing from your girl. I will be there. The WOW Conference is a massive women's only event featuring successful queens in business, money, and asset protection. So you need to be there. All right. This is going to be a virtual conference, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. Now, sis, I thought you was going to be up. You know what I'm saying? I thought you was going to have on your red, white, and blue one piece. You know what I'm saying? I thought that you were going to be like waving the banner, you know, and singing Amazing Grace and all of that. But you look like you just like
not Amazing Grace.
Is that a headboard behind you? What is going on? You're not up and excited right now?
It's the same. I was like, oh, girl, I could have just rolled on over and kept on going, because it's the same It's the same thing. I am extremely underwhelmed. That is exactly what we can say that I am. Because I know, like I said earlier, like I know who these people are. We know who these people are. We know who this nation is. And for us as Black people, we need to stop just taking breadcrumbs of, of symbolism, these little pieces, things that they give us to try to pacify us. Like, we have to say, all right, it's time is up. Like, we had 8 years of a Black president. What did that do for y'all? Oh, okay. That's exactly. That's what it did for y'all. And then it's like that's what happened. And then now you think that the vice president under that Black president is gonna come in and do stuff when he is known for pushing white supremacist agendas, aka opening the door for mass incarceration, like, in our communities and things like that. And so we're gonna look to this person as our savior? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now more than ever is the time for us to place demands on these on ourselves first of all. Okay. Place demands on ourselves first and foremost. Like, what are we willing to do? How self-determined are we as the Black nation going to be? How self-determined are we as the Black nation going to be to do what is in our interest for the things that we deserve, our human rights, our liberation, what is rightfully owed and due to us from this country, from this nation, period, i.e. demanding for reparations, demanding for the repairing of the brokenness that was caused by the wickedness of this nation. So we must be clear on what we must do first and foremost, and then we must go forward with placing demands on these elected officials, that it was our votes that put them in office in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So we need to really be not looking at this like, oh yes, oh, like doing the whole like change is going to come thing with Biden, because in reality nothing will change. Power concedes nothing without a demand. Until we as a Black nation begin to organize in our own interest, and our own interest right now is definitely the repairing of our nation, period. So we need to be organizing around that and placing a demand on these people, and really putting the demand on them, because this is the same old, same old, same old, same old, same old, same old Joe, same old Joe, same old Bush, same old Obama, same old Clinton. I'm tired. So that's why I'm in bed.
I'm tired, so that's why I'm in bed. Girl, that part. This is the same old creepy Joe. Can we get on that part?
Ooh.
But listen, we're gonna stay focused on nation building because we got a lot to build now. The chat is just going absolutely bananas. We want to also thank Big Easy 1980. Thank you so much for your generous contribution to Fly Nubian Queen. Big Easy on 1980 said, hashtag cut the check. Not trying to hear nothing else. Let's talk about that part. Let's talk about all of these executive orders that he's planning on signing in today, right? Nothing having to do anything with our community. I mean, you've been on here before. We've been talking about this. What is it for a long time? I've been sounding the alarm. I'm coming at all of them really, really hard. Even when Bernie Sanders was trying to run, he acted like he didn't know what the hell cut the check meant or what reparations is or whatever. But he definitely damn sure benefits from that as well. But what is your what do you think about this comment? Hashtag cut the check. Not trying to hear nothing else.
For real though, because all of the things that they try to feel like they're solving, like all these poverty programs that they push in our communities, all of this, oh, we need to study the disparities and look, ain't no more studying. What are we studying? This is what happened. Y'all stole us, right? Y'all sold us, and you owe us. That's what happened. Okay. So cut the check, because the reason why we have these disparities are because of the very nature of what we just said. You stole us and you sold us. That very nature of slavery, the enslavement of African people that America likes to act like they didn't do. That is why there are the disparities in healthcare and education and the economy. That is the root of that. So yes, get into signing the executive order, doing what needs to be done for Black people, since you want to help us so much. Again, in his acceptance speech, he pounded the podium fervently, saying it was Black people that helped me get into office and I will never forget you and all this other crap. Yeah. So yes, cut the check, run our money, ante up the bread, give me the loot. Like, where's the bread? We got to build up our nation.
Absolutely. You know, and thank you for saying that. And as you're speaking, I'm getting notifications on this device. So if you see me looking over or doing that, it's a lot going on right now. It's a hell of a lot going on right now. I think people are not, I just don't want us to lose focus and lose sight of where we are as a nation right now, right? As a Black nation, but also within this country, right? What's actually happening. Half of the country is infuriated, right, for other reasons, not for the reasons that you and I are talking about, because we know that at the end of the day, we practice self-determination. If it's going to be something that needs to be created, our responsibility to take care of ourselves does not come from the government or any other entity. Yes. We create that for ourselves, right? Yes. So we're not talking about that. I'm talking about these domestic terrorists who have popped up in the form of white supremacists who are very, very, very pissed off, and they are organized and they have infiltrated every single echelon of society. So while people are out like, oh yeah, this is really exciting and all of that, 2 weeks to the day, these folks demonstrated their power and have been getting slapped on the wrist type punishment. And it's going to take a 9/11 type task force to really neutralize the threat or see what the hell is going on and get them under control or whatever. But you know, we don't want our folks to be out celebrating and happy and ha 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 and kiki and he and ha ha ha, whatever the hell that folks are doing right now, and not forget that we are in the middle. We're already under genocide and anti-Black warfare, right? Victims of white supremacy. Yes. The nation itself is the white man is having its own civil war, right? And ideologically, the country is experiencing something really unprecedented that it's never seen since the War of 1812, right? So we need to be sure that we are focused, and we're going to hold the mainstream media, elected officials, even entertainers, and celebrities who are in our community, anybody with influence, we're going to hold them accountable to advancing our interests, because we're the ones who built this country. I don't know about you, sis, but when J-Lo was singing "This land is your land, this land is my land,"
what? I'm glad that you brought it up, but go ahead, go. Yes.
It says she paused in the middle and she said something in Spanish. She was like, you know, this is our country too. And the song itself has been sung for a long time, right? This land is, that's a damn colonizer song, right? No, y'all stole this land. This land was not made for y'all.
Exactly. What?
Y'all stole this from us. Let's be really, really clear, right? And are attempting to replace us, silence us, practice benign neglect and even more wicked forms of genocide against us. So you don't have to pay me what you owe me.
Exactly.
Precisely. What has Dr. Paul Anderson been advocating for and doing with the Harvest Institute? Y'all know, y'all need to go over to the harvestinstitute.org, okay? Because these people know that they owe us our land claim, our wealth. They have massacred our ancestors, yes, many of whom came over through the transatlantic slave trade, but many of us, like me and Iman and many of the B1 folks, you know, in the building, we are indigenous to this land as well. So let's get that part straight. So for J-Lo to sing that damn colonizer song, sis, I literally could have thrown a rock at the huge, you know, big screen TV that's like mounted on the wall right there. But anyway, I digress. You go ahead, sis. Go ahead. And y'all hit that like button and subscribe to Fly Nubian Queen TV.com. You're in the Lioness Den weekdays, 12 p.m. Eastern time with your sister, Lioness Crown. You can also follow my content on YouTube at Lioness Crowned, also Lioness Crowned on Twitter, Instagram, and Clubhouse. Let's go, sis.
Yeah, so when she sang that, I was just like, what I really thought of, honestly, was just the whole pushing of this whole agenda with Joe Biden trying to, even when he was recorded saying that like that Black people are pretty much no longer the most important minority. Or first of all, I don't even like calling us minorities, let's be clear. Like, so I'm not even going to say that anymore, because you could put Europe, America, you could put all them white nations in our continent, and then we're still all over the world. So there ain't nothing minor about it. So I'm gonna stop. I only do that when, you know, repeating what people say, but even after repeating, like, I'm not doing that anymore. Like, because I can't, like, mentally, it's just like, I'm not a minority. That's another part of their like witchcraft, word spelling backwards stuff that they like to do. And I'm not gonna internalize that, being a minority. But I feel like it was definitely a part about when Joe Biden was recorded stating that like Black people are no longer important, but now Latino people and stuff like that they're the most important people group. And I'm just like, I feel like that was like his entree to pushing this agenda, to again trying to get Black people off of the agenda, which we're never really on the agenda. They just like to pacify us because they know that they owe us. They know what is rightfully due to us. They know they know what they deserve. They know what they deserve. So again, I feel like it's another form of divisiveness, because I have nothing against brown people, and I have nothing against other oppressed people, because I believe firmly in the whole theory and the ideology of workers of the world unite, aka oppressed people of the world must unite together. So but I do want to say that we cannot fall prey to this divisiveness that they're trying to push now. And I felt like that is what that was when they had J-Lo do that, sing that song, say whatever she said in Spanish. And that's a part of what they're trying to do, because remember, they always try to distract. They want to distract and deflect from what really needs to happen. America owes Black people, America owes us, period. And they're trying to get us off of the agenda. So we have to, that is why, again, first and foremost, we must remain self-determined to stay in engaging in this warfare, period. Because we must fight freedom or death. We must fight. We must liberate ourselves. We must liberate ourselves from this oppressive system, period. And we must demand and take back what is rightfully ours, period. So that's why I felt like that J-Lo, that shit didn't, I mean, that stuff did not sit right with me at all. It didn't.
Yeah, it didn't sit right with me at all. And you know what I don't like? I don't like the way, you know, this country, in the media, the government, like I believe that I know that there's a concerted effort for when many folks immigrate to the United States of America, even if they are melanated or Black, they are taught to malign us. They are taught to separate us. They all get to talk.
Yes.
Don't mix up with those Black Americans because they're lazy. They didn't take advantage of the resources that the good old, you know, white savior, you know, white man gave them. And that's why they don't have nothing and they ain't never done nothing. And we built this country. So there's a lot of ignorance and intentional misinformation internationally about our group anyway, right? And so the issue that we're running into is people being elevated in positions of power, white and non-white, who have this really disgusting and disrespectful anti-Black American, anti-foundational Black American sentiment against us. And so it's like fighting wars on multiple fronts. Think of it this way, sis. Think of it this way. If I was to pick up, listen, y'all, and the line is then, hit that like button right quick, because this is real. If I was to pick up and pack my bags and move to South Africa, right, I would not turn my back on the brothers and sisters who are there, who are experiencing apartheid or trying to take control over their land. I would not go over there and work with the white Afrikaans, South Africans, and I wouldn't marry up with them. I wouldn't be socializing with them, I would move over there with the exclusive purpose and mission of replacing a system of anti-Black racism with a system of justice in service of my brothers and sisters. If I move to Guatemala, you know what I'm saying? Or if I move to, different places on the country where capitalism and white supremacy is running rampant, my sole contract, my mission is to fight against this beast. So I don't understand, I do understand with colonization, imperialism, and, rhetoric and all of this stuff, preying on people, who are poor coming from other parts of the world. But for me, the way my soul has been built and constructed would never, ever think to err on the side of the oppressor. That's just me. What do you think about that, sis?
I love the illustration that you made. Like, that is like, so it's beautiful the way that you described it, because in essence, that's exactly what happens. And we must always remember that this anti-Blackness is not just in America. It's a global system of white supremacy, global system of anti-Blackness. This rhetoric is constantly pushed about, Black people, and we must ask ourselves why. Because they know when you go straight at the contradiction that is in the Black nation, that goes straight at what is the fundamental contradiction in the world. So that is why they spew this anti-Black propaganda all around the world, so that other oppressed people can think that, oh, well, at least we're not like them at the bottom of the totem pole, and oh my God, they're so horrible. Because they know that if other oppressed people around the world would truly be in tune, and there are, but a lot of the people who come here and become Americanized because they're brainwashed by the false ideology of white supremacy and the false ideology of the American dream. They know that if these people were to truly awaken to who Black people are and the oppression that we face and what the nature of the oppression, then that would be like a combustion of just oppressed people around the world uniting to utterly destroy the false ideology of white supremacy, utterly destroy the nature of capitalism, in which we were capital. Because that is the fundamental thing. We were capital in this whole system. So that is why it's like, we must never forget that. And we must constantly push out the truth to these oppressed people to awaken their eyes. Like, stop being used by these people or these Martians. Stop being used by them to go against us, when in all reality, we are all fighting for the same thing. And never forget the role that Black people played in this. They stole our bodies from our land, and they sold us like we were animals, filthy animals. They sold us like we were beasts or something. So don't try to disrespect Black people. And don't fall for the propaganda that America spews at you. Because at the end of the day, even when we were, quote unquote, when we liberated ourselves and we built up our own things, they destroyed that. So there ain't nothing lazy about Black people. Black people built this nation. And our label still continues to build this nation. So people around the world need to not get it twisted on who Black people are, and they need to have a true understanding on the nature of oppression and the fundamental contradiction, which is who owns the means of production, who really owns things. And it ain't none of y'all, but it's a small ruling class group, and we must have that understanding and know that that's why they do not want us to come together. That's why they will always spew anti-Black rhetoric, because they never want you to unite with the Black nation that was oppressed and that was actually used as capital in this system.
Chattel slavery, American chattel slavery. I couldn't have said it any better. We're tuned in to the Lioness Den. This is my sister Iman Essia of Brooklyn, New York. She's also a proud member of the December 12th movement. Y'all need to look up D12. Go to D12movement.com, D12movement.com.
D12M.
Was D12M.com.
D12M.
Sorry, y'all type that in, D12M.com, D12M.com. She's an activist, she's an organizer, and she's also an artist. She does spoken word, she writes, she's really, really deep. And you know, she's a Pisces, you know what I'm saying? So she has a lot of spiritual and psychic, metaphysical energy going on. But I want you all, y'all, let me do this right quick because there's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. I'm gonna read this copyright disclaimer under section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, and teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All right, so what had happened was we were expecting, right? We were already expecting, before I share my screen, we were expecting a whole bunch of executive orders anyway to come out during the first 100 days of this administration. But I'm going to share my screen right now. We're going to go to this article on CNN.com, and it's going to talk about Biden's intentions to reverse many of the policies and executive orders that Trump had. Okay, so I just wanted to share this really quickly. Sister Iman, feel free to comment on any of it. Biden targets Trump's legacy with first day executive actions. All right, and as you know, Joseph R. Biden Jr. has been sworn in as America's 46th president. So 45, the Antichrist, is out. But I say, hey, Joe Crime Bill Biden, aka Lucifer, is in. But that's a whole next conversation. It says President-elect Joe Biden plans to take 17 executive actions during his first hours in office Wednesday, moving faster and more aggressively to dismantle his predecessor's legacy than any other modern president. Joe Biden will sign a flurry of executive orders, memoranda, and directives to agencies, making his first moves to address the coronavirus pandemic and undo some of Trump's signature policies. Let's see what those policies are. And y'all type in y'all comments what y'all think about these things he's about to reverse today, because he just got sworn in. I think Howard University's marching band is going to be marching and all of that good stuff. And then he is going to get to work and Congress is going to convene. But look at this. With the stroke of a pen, he'll halt construction of Trump's border wall, reverse its travel ban targeting largely Muslim countries, and embrace progressive policies on the environment and diversity that Trump spent 4 years blocking. Biden also plans to reverse several of Trump's attempts to withdraw from international agreements, rejoining the Paris Climate Accord, and halting the United States' departure from the World Health Organization, where Dr. Anthony Fauci, the government's top infectious disease expert, will lead the U.S. delegation. Now, I can't say that all of these things are horrible, by the way. That's not what I'm saying at all, but I'm just trying to look for the part that's going to talk about foundational Black Americans. That's what I'm trying to look for. So let me see if we can get there. Let's see if anything pops up out the blue in his first hours of presidency and what these plans are. It says his first action will be to impose a mask mandate on federal property, a break in approach to dealing with the pandemic from Trump, who repeatedly downplayed the virus. He will also install a coronavirus response coordinator to oversee the Biden White House's efforts to distribute vaccines and medical supplies. Now, check this out. We do know that there are members of Congress who refuse to wear masks, right? Who have also infected a hell of a lot of people, who infected people when the Capitol was under siege 2 weeks ago to this day. And now other members of Congress have caught the coronavirus. So that is a thing. So he's trying to make it a mask mandate, mandatory on federal property. The other thing he will do is Biden will sign executive orders and memoranda in the Oval Office on Wednesday afternoon. His incoming press secretary, Jen Psaki, told reporters. Psaki told other top Trump Biden officials, said the first day actions are only part of what will be a series of moves to undo Trump policies and implement Biden's campaign promises in the first weeks in office. I'm like almost halfway through this article. I didn't see Black people show up on time.
No, not at all.
Okay. He plans to follow Inauguration Day by centering each day of January around a specific theme, according to a draft of a calendar document sent to administration allies and viewed by CNN. Thank you so much, Black Voltron Reloaded. Thank you for your generous contribution to Fly Nubian Queen. You said, something like I'm still waiting. Celeste P. Mitchell, thank you very much as well for your generous contribution to Fly Nubian Queen. All right, I'll read the comments in just a moment. Let me get through this.
Okay.
Lord. Okay. Now, Thursday, Biden's first full day in office will be focused on the coronavirus pandemic, and Friday will highlight Biden's push for economic relief, including executive orders restoring federal employees' collective bargaining rights and directing agency action on safety net programs, including Medicaid and unemployment insurance. The themes next week will be Buy American with a Monday executive order with a Monday executive order beefing up requirements for government purchases of goods and services from U.S. companies, equity on Tuesday, coupled with a push to eliminate private prisons. What is equity? How has equity even been defined right now in this part, right? What is that? What does equity mean on Tuesday? That is very, very vague. You see how they glossed over this, Iman? It says coupled with a push to eliminate private
on Tuesday, coupled with
right.
Yep.
It just goes through. I want y'all to peep the deception. Yes. Everyone hit the like button. I see all 603 of y'all in there. All right, we just getting started. Now look at this. It says, okay, equity on Tuesday coupled with a push to eliminate private prisons. Climate on Wednesday with an executive order kicking off regulatory actions, reestablishing the president's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology and combating climate change. Healthcare on Thursday of next week, a day on which Biden will rescind the so-called Mexico City policy blocking federal funding for non-governmental organizations that provide abortion services. I'm not even going to comment on that. And immigration on Friday of next week, when Biden plans to sign executive orders focused on border processing and refugee policies and establish a family reunification task force. February will focus on what's identified in the calendar document as restoring America's place in the world. During Black History Month, by the way, y'all.
I'm like, okay.
Right? And it says, here's a look at the 17 actions Biden will take on his first day in office. President-elect Joe Biden will take 17 executive actions on day one. Coronavirus, economy, environment, equity. What does that say? Rescind the Trump administration's 1776 commission. Directs agencies to review their actions to ensure racial equity. All right. If y'all didn't read that 1776 commission report that the White House under Trump put out earlier this week, I'm gonna need y'all to go over there. It's a PDF file. I want you to download it and read it and hold on to it. It is absolutely nuts and insane. Right. And I'm sure that this administration will take it off the website. It was like really dumb, but we can talk about that next time, Iman. Equity. Prevents workplace discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity. Notice here, nothing about race. You see this? Okay, you see this? All right. Right. This is an equity initiative. Yep. Prevents workplace discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity. The census, requiring non-citizens to be included in the census and an apportionment of congressional representatives. Immigration fortifies DACA after Trump's efforts to undo protections for undocumented people brought into the country as children. Immigration reverses the Trump administration's restrictions on the U.S. entry for passport holders from 7 Muslim majority countries. Immigration undoes Trump's expansion of immigration enforcement within the United States. Immigration halts construction of the border wall, as we stated before earlier, halts construction of the border wall by terminating the national emergency declaration used to fund it. Immigration again extends referrals of deportation and work authorizations for Liberians with a safe haven in the United States until June 30th, 2022. Ethics requires executive branch appointees to sign an ethics pledge, barring them from acting in personal interest and requiring them to uphold the independence of the Department of Justice. Regulation is the last one. Directs OMB director to develop recommendations to modernize regulatory review and undoes Trump's regulatory approval process. I'm going to unshare my screen.
You
The
see us.
Lioness Den right now. We're in the Lioness Den. You're tuned in. This is your sister, Lioness Crowned. We're here weekdays at 12 p.m. Eastern Time at FlyNubianQueenTV.com, which is the YouTube channel for Fly Nubian Queen Network. I want you to go over and hit the notification bell, hit that subscribe button, like and share this broadcast. I want you to also go over to FlyNubianQueen.com on Facebook, and we're also on iTunes. So make sure you're subscribed to us everywhere. Text the word Queens with an S to 31996. That's Queens to 31996. That way you will get notified when social media platforms fail to notify you when our queens and contributors go live on this platform. And we also want to remind you that next weekend is a big weekend because, you know, Biden, Harris, all of that, yeah. You're going to hear from some queens. You're going to hear from some Black women right here on Fly Nubian Queen next Saturday and Sunday at the Women of Wealth Weekend Conference, the WOW Conference, the Women of Wealth Weekend Conference, Saturday, January 30th and Sunday, January 31st, 2021, from 10 a.m. Eastern Time to 3 p.m. Eastern Time. The WOW Conference is a massive women's only event featuring successful queens in business, money, and asset protection. All right. The queens that will take the virtual stage are successful, inspiring, and empowered thought leaders, speakers, business owners, and coaches. Yes, I will be there. These visionaries will be sharing their unique stories. We will be sharing our unique stories, tips, and techniques for creating and building wealth. Some of our featured speakers include our Fly Nubian Queens, Vicki Dillard, Jay Arundel, Constance Carter, Tina Berry, Chanel Walker, and Candace Hodges. The event will be hosted by business development strategist and CEO of Upscale Noir, Lene Jave. She's absolutely amazing, so graceful and dope. Y'all know who Lene is. She's amazing. All right, other featured speakers include licensed clinical therapist and founder of Coaching with Dr. Alicia LLC. That's Dr. Alicia, the Dr. Alicia, y'all. You know, soon to be, you know, Dr. Watkins, you know. All right, Dr. Alicia McLaughlin, wealth coach, Takesha Artis, the wealth doula, Cheyenne Muhammad, attorney Nicole T. Compton, and many, many more. Some of the panelists include master your money mindset, create a life-changing side hustle, invest your way to the top, conquering the corporate ladder, and more. Go over to womenofwealthweekend.com. That's womenofwealthweekend.com to get your tickets. Hurry up, y'all, because tickets will be selling out fast. Now, I had to do a commercial after I read all of those executive orders that don't have a damn thing to do with Black people. Iman, what's up?
They didn't have nothing to do with Black people at all. And it's just interesting as you were going through and they showed like the different categories, this category, that category, and like health and this, again, it's like, where are Black people in all of that? Because again, our issue with this country, you stole us, y'all. You sold us, and we were enslaved in this country, and we have disparities. And now we're in the midst of this pandemic where we see masses of our people dying, and for whatever, like for reasons that they did not need to die, you know, because this, not saying, oh, this is some like low level virus, but it's like, it's a respiratory virus, which can, you know, it can be dealt with if it was dealt with properly, if we had the proper healthcare things in our community and stuff like that. And that ties back to us not having the fundamental things that we need because we were enslaved and we didn't have what we needed. And then when we try to build ourselves back up, y'all destroyed it. And then also, we don't own nothing. We don't own the means of production. We don't own the wealth. The wealth is stolen from us. So somebody has our wealth. They need to give it up to us or whatever. And we need to make sure that we push an agenda for ourselves, that we place the demand on Biden to push an executive order that is in the black people's interest. And the demand that we're pushing is for reparations. You pay us, you owe us, give us the money that you owe us, period, Joe Biden. That is it. We don't want no more poverty programs. We not with it. We want an executive order that will push the down payment the down payment for reparations to the Black nation so that we can do things that are necessary, like build the healthcare facilities in our community so that we can have the proper healthcare. We can have Black doctors working with Black people to heal Black people, and not just a facility that is based solely on profit and pushing drugs on us because we're in because of the pharmaceutical industry. So we need to, again, get back to the place of self-determination, like the title of this, no more getting rocked. We're not going back to sleep. We're gonna stay woke, and we're gonna continue to push forward and be self-determined for what is in our interest. And our interest right now is placing a demand, because there should be no reason why Black people should not be on no agenda of Joe Biden within his first day or first 100 days, because he knew that it was the Black vote that put him in office. And even if it wasn't, I don't care. America owes Black people, period. That's it.
Yes, sis. I was looking up at the TV. I wasn't rolling my eyes, but I am like rolling my eyes. But not at you though. Not at you. Shout out to everyone in the line is there. Make sure y'all hit that like button. We're gonna wrap this up really, really soon, because you're right. It's no reason why. And listen, Linda, listen. Hold up, Linda. Listen. He told these Black folk. Somebody would use another word, but that was his attitude. I told you, I'm not doing nothing for y'all. not in the constitutional authority. Not gonna do it. Like he really put down his pimp hand on Black civil rights leaders. What was it, a month ago or whatever? We did a whole broadcast on that.
Yes.
Like, I'm not doing nothing for y'all. I'm not doing nothing for y'all. Look, y'all better go to the polls and vote Democrat down ballot. They've been giving out hot sauce, collard greens, Hoppin' John, cornbread, stripper pole ads, get your booty to the poll, get out to vote, vote or die, all of this toxic, liberal, racist political propaganda, right? It's been peddled onto our people, and people were like, oh, well, we can't do Trump. Well, I can't do Biden either. You understand? Right. I'm my own president. Me. Yep. I'm the president. I vote for shout out exactly. For Jerry Thomas in the house. Listen, Linda, Linda, putting up the first Black woman, right? HBCU alum, right? Vice president.
Please.
Hopefully, I'm gonna give this sister a chance. I'm gonna give her a chance. She might have some influence over him. She might be able to influence some policy. But let me tell you something right now. And this is the thing. Those white supremacist domestic terrorists, 2 weeks ago to the very day, stormed the U.S. Capitol, went in, stole all types of intelligence, took pictures and stuff. It was a coordinated attack. They've been dealt with kid gloves. Somebody then took Nancy Pelosi's damn laptop and was trying to allegedly sell it to Russia. Allegedly, they took pictures. They went through the desks on the chamber floor and did X, Y, and Z. Ain't nobody did nothing. Nope. Right? These fools is getting organic food behind bars in federal custody, and at the same time, all of the things that these people thought that they were going to do, Biden signed it. He's signing something right now. I don't even care. But it don't have nothing to do with Black people. But all of these things that they were planning on doing when he came into office, everything takes a back seat. The number one priority right now is national security. From within and outside, right? Because we are in a national security crisis, and Congress is going to be tied up. This presidency is going to be tied up. Now, Vice President Kamala Harris could really utilize those skills, right? As being a prosecutor and all of that. I've been really critical of her record in terms of the Black community and, in mass incarceration. Biden, the same thing. They know how to lock people up, though. So let's see if they keep that same energy for these white supremacists. Mm-hmm. Congress, the government needs to get on code. But what I'm saying is a lot of time money and resources are going to be put into the, cleaning up this mess and going after these domestic terrorists and preventing international threats of terrorism, quite frankly. And so while I am not enthusiastic about a Biden-Harris presidency, I know that she's a hell of a damn good prosecutor, and she know how to lock people up when it's time to go after somebody, investigate, and get that done. So let's hope, yeah, let's lock up these these domestic terrorist white supremacists, because it's not like we don't have white supremacists as well, right, on the left, or these progressive liberals. But let's see them like utilize those same skills. I want to see a mass incarceration effort. Let's get a 2021 crime bill, you know, understand, that targets white supremacist terrorist organizations. I want to see that. I want to see that.
Exactly. Accelerate mass incarceration in the white community of, the white supremacists. I agree with that. Do that. Do mass incarceration to really, calm down all of the domestic terrorism. And it's interesting because you kept on saying like the national threat to security, and it's like, who are the most like vulnerable people group always? Who are the people group who always deals with this national terrorism? And it is us. So it's like, let us not fall back to sleep. And even in the midst of all of this, let us not fall back to sleep, and know the nature of our oppression, and know that we're always going to have to fight for what we need. And right now, like, they can say, oh, the country is like is not secure right now, and there's all these threats, and it's like, our lives, Black people, our lives are threatened 24/7, 365, period. So y'all don't really care about those domestic threats, the domestic threats that we face every single day, because that's in y'all interest, and y'all really could care less about us. So I just want brothers and sisters to really like take this day, take this moment, and take this time. And how am I going to myself, how am I going to begin to organize myself, and organize those around me, and organize my family to be in the best interest for us in this moment, because we are the ones who are faced the domestic terrorism the most. We're the ones who face domestic terrorism. You know who shoots up our community, who puts the guns in our communities. Where do guns come from? They don't come from the sky. We don't have gun factories in our communities. We know who shoots us down in the street. We know who puts lead in our water. We know who miseducates us. We know who pushes us out of the hospital if you don't have the money to pay. We know who does these things. So it's just like, we gotta really see America for what it is once and for all, and begin to organize in our interest, and begin to place these demands on this government. Oh, you're saying, oh, national threat and things like that. Black people are threatened every day in this country, every single day. How about that, Joe? How about that, Kamala? How about that, Congress? How about that, Senate? Let's begin to really push for what is truly right. No more pacifying, no more passivity, no more like, this is crazy. No, if you feel that way, speak up and do something about how you feel the injustices are happening in your community. Take it personal, because it's personally happening to us. We are personally being shot down in the street. You may not have known Tamir Rice, but that was my little brother. That was my little cousin. You know, you got to look at it like that. We are one family, Black people, the Black nation. And we must begin to be enraged when they continuously pass us over, pass us by, when we're not even thought of in the first day or first 100 days. But you say all this BS to rile us up and to push us out to the voting polls and put you in office. So we must take offense to everything and not take this lightly, because our lives are on the line. Let us not forget what happened to the Native Americans, period. Let's not. We got to put ourselves first and really push. Take it personal.
Absolutely. It is very personal. So don't get caught up in the theatrics of what you see happening. Don't get caught up in the hoopla. Don't get caught up in the media spin or the distraction, because much of this is a distraction. We are still in a state of emergency. We've been
Yes.
in a state of emergency. So do not get rocked back to sleep. Don't let any Timberlands or Chuck Taylors or, dancing to Cardi B or Meg Thee Stallion and or any of these tropes. You ain't black if you don't vote for me. You ain't black if you don't support me, X, Y, and Z. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for an attempt of an Obama 2.0. We just put a black person in, make them feel good, play on their emotions, and we don't have to deliver anything to them. We're not doing that. We are smarter and wiser and stronger than we were, right? Back then. Right now we're here. We have arrived. We are in 2021. And it is time to take responsibility of our culture, of our community, of our history, and of our legacy.
Yes.
We need to do that. And we're not going to get rocked back to sleep. And we need to spend less time. And when I say we, myself included, less time having non-constructive conversations that don't lead to anything. We need to stop wasting our time. Like they say, idle mind. An idle mind is a devil's workshop, right? Idle hands, all of that. We need to be creating and building. We need to be starting businesses, having multiple streams of income. We need to stay prayed up. We need to take care of our health. We need to exercise. We need to be spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, in every way strong and powerful, because it is time to build. We have to take more responsibility and get serious as hell. I'm talking to every single grown person tuned in right now. If you're watching this later, we need to tighten up and shape up in the interest of our children, because quite frankly, we are doing them a huge disservice. We are dropping the ball on our young people and turning our backs on our young people and our babies and leaving them out to dry, to be educated by, raped by, kidnapped by, subjugated by, mentally colonized by, and otherwise locked up by our open enemies, because we don't have our stuff together. This is not the time to be like, oh my gosh, this is so great. And we are selfish as hell as grown Black people. You know what I'm saying? When after the Capitol siege happened, I'll give an example. When it happened, I called my elders from around the country and my family, different states, Alabama. I called down to Virginia. I called down to Florida. I called down to Georgia. Just different places. And these are elders in my family. We live a long time, by the way. Shout out to, I'm grateful, longevity, right? And that's what we want to create. We want to have that, because our great-great-grandparents was living to about like 110, 115 years old. But they were so grateful that I had called to just check on them to see how they were doing, because it was, one elder said, he was like, you know what, families are just growing apart. We used to hear from people all the time, and now we're all spread out in different states, and people we don't keep in contact anymore. Society is shifting, and we Black people, we are shifting and getting indoctrinated into these practices where we're not even family centered, we're not even child centered, but we are self-centered. And my people, that has to stop. It has to stop.
Yep, I totally agree. We have to decolonize our minds. We have to decolonize our minds and recapture our culture. As you were just saying, we need to recapture our culture and understand who we are as the original people. We've always been a communal people, a very family-oriented people. We've always held our elders to a highest esteem, held our parents to a highest esteem. Family is very important because we know that it's community. We are social beings as human beings. It must be like that, and we must recapture our culture and not allow these aliens, these people, these whatever they are, to just continue to run rampant with the destruction of our identity. Because even in the worst of times, when we were physically enslaved, we still held on to those traditions. We still held on to our culture. So we must continue to get back and tap back into the old ways of doing things and the correct ways of doing things. It's not like, oh, that's old, that's done with. No, those are the correct ways of doing things. So we must get back into our ancestral lineage and tap back into who we truly are. Get the white men out your head. Get them out your head and recapture your culture. You are a Black African. You are an African. You are an original. You are indigenous to the land. You are of this earth. Like, don't forget who you are, and don't allow these people to kill who we've always been created to be. Understand that culture is indeed our weapon. And when you were talking about the Cardi B's and the Megan Thee Stallions, that it going back to what you were saying and feeding off of what you're saying, it is time for the creators, everybody to get back. This is the time for the Renaissance, the new Black Renaissance. Culture is our weapon, and we must utilize that to recapture the minds of the people. Use your art for this art, for not for art's sake. Don't allow these people to dictate how you do art. Do art for your people, to edify them, to lift them up, and to push them forward to liberate themselves.
Absolutely. Beautifully stated. I couldn't have said it any better. Sis, you want to tell folks how to follow you? I want to have you on again soon. I'm glad to see you, to see you're well and all of that good stuff,
Yeah, glad to see you too.
Yeah.
We be talking, and when we see each other, it's like,
I know. So yeah, let us know how to follow you and your work and everything that you're up to on social media.
Yes. Okay, so my Instagram, and I had to like go because I was like, how do I put it in? So it's Iman dot, so IMAN dot ART.IST. That's how you can follow my Instagram, and definitely check out D12M. That's the December 12th movement. That is our website. That's our page. So just check out what we're working on and what we're doing now in regards to pushing forward the whole executive order and things like that. We're really focused on getting this done because we need the healthcare facilities in our community. We need the capital to build what is necessary. But yeah, that's how you can get in contact. And if you want to, like, just DM me on Instagram. I'm not like no celebrity or nothing.
So. But listen, this is a powerhouse sister out of Brooklyn, New York. She's an organizer, an activist, and an artist, amongst so many other things. And so we're so grateful to have her in the Lioness Den. I'm so grateful to have you all in the Lioness Den. Shout out to Black Mama, I see you, and Black Voltron, and everyone and the family for tuning in to our program. We will be here. I'm rolling my eyes at the TV. Weekdays at 12 p.m. Eastern time. The focus this year in the Lioness Den and beyond is nation building. We are going to be building like none other. I'm not Sister Iman. I'm not reacting to every lynching of a Black person. I'm not reacting to every racist thing that somebody said or did, or every injustice. The conversation focus in the Lioness Den this year is replacing a system of anti-Black racism, white supremacy with a system of justice. Yes. And we do that by building, right? And focusing on Black empowerment. That's exactly what we're going to do. We already know that, the cards are, proverbial cards are stacked against us, or so they think, but we will continue to build and create our own empowerment and liberation, and to practice self-determination. And that's what we're going to do. And that's what we're going to focus on. Yes. And part of that work is practicing counter warfare, counter oppression of those things that are harming us, right? And so we need to be paying really, really close attention to the media, and this political system, and how they're going to hold these domestic white supremacist terrorists and every other thing or whatever accountable. And we need to be advocating for our own policies that are going to empower us in the community. I wanted to say that. The other thing I do want to remind you all is we're having the WOW conference next weekend right here at FlyNubianQueen.com. Go over to Women of Wealth Weekend.com, womenofwealthweekend.com, and get your tickets. It will be Saturday, January 30th, and Sunday, January 31st, 2021, from 10 a.m. Eastern time to 3 p.m. Eastern time, y'all. That's all I got, sis. I want to have you back in maybe this week if you have time. I have an idea. We'll talk about it offline. I want everyone to continue to show up for us, continue to support our network. Check out the rest of the queens on Fly Nubian Queen. Go over to our Facebook page. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube and text the word queens to 31996. Support our merchandise and our brand at shopfnq.com. This broadcast is ending, but so is global racism and white supremacy. We will, and we must, trample this beast through fortitude, preparedness, and collectivism. And always remember that they stole us and what?
They sold us and they owe us, period.
Period. Cut the check, run that money. you know what I'm saying? Black agenda, B1, all of that good stuff. We're going to be uncompromising on this. We're going to be very consistent. We're going to get on code. We're going to be on guard to the threats from outside of our community and also from within our community, but we are producing justice. All right, we are producing justice. And so until next time, family,